Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, guys. How are you? How are you?
I'm feeling a lot better.
Guys, Soph got struck down.
I got absolutely annihilated by some sort of flu, COVID. I don't even know what it was, but it was horrible.
Yeah.
Which is why we didn't upload last week.
Yeah, for those of
So I was
you
that
who,
sick.
you know, are really just all in with the pod, you will have noticed that we didn't upload last week. It's because Soph was taken out for a solid 7 days.
Yeah. Which is unheard of for me. I actually don't think I've been that ill in my whole life. Like
In your whole life?
Well, apart from like being a very young child.
Oh, wow.
I don't ever remember having like a week off of school or a week off of work or...
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, guys, it was a big week.
Yeah. So
But she's back. She's recovered.
fighting
Praise
fit
the
as
Lord
ever.
for immune health.
New antibodies activated, so I won't be getting sick for at least another 10 years.
And you
Forget the flu jab.
You couldn't smell, could you? Or
Well, I could smell, but like my sense
everything
of smell
smelled
just went a bit
differently.
weird. That's the thing that's making me think it was a COVID type thing.
Yeah.
Because when I have had COVID before, well, there was one time I just fully lost my sense of smell. So that was what was making, to me, it lean more to the COVID type thing. But I mean, what even is COVID? What even is...
I know. And
that anymore.
Speaking of smell, in a seamless transition, you can smell. Actually, could you smell your new body spray? Or did it smell different? No, sorry, did it smell?
It just smelled different, yeah.
Guys, we are all about the Lush body sprays at the moment.
We are. We're not gatekeeping this.
We don't want to keep this hidden from you.
Because I would say that I had never really thought about, you know, going to Lush as a provider for body spray.
I personally just don't go into Lush.
Well, there we go. But I saw this. I was well and truly influenced. I saw this person on, I think it was even like, I don't know, YouTube Shorts or something. Anyway, she was like swearing by this Lush body spray. And that every time she wears it, she gets so many compliments. Like, it's really like long lasting. So I was like, I got to try it out.
I got to try it out. It's rude not to.
And she didn't lie. It's, bearing in mind, I guess it's a body spray, so it's not a perfume, but I think it's about 25 quid. And I would say it's as long lasting as some perfumes I've had, which you would probably be paying, could be paying 60, 70, 80. I mean, depending on what kind of perfume you like. You could be spending a good chunk of money on that.
No, for 25 quid, it's
200ml bottle.
200ml little spray bottle that literally looks like a cleaning product bottle.
It looks like a
It's
what
got
you
a
used to wipe
spray
tables
that,
with.
yeah, it's got quite a weird nozzle, but
That's just Lush. They're a bit quirky. Like
yeah,
that, aren't they?
it's kind of cool. Sits in my bathroom looking kind of cool. Soph went and got one and then influenced me to go and get one.
Yeah.
So what's your scent?
Mine is called Let the Good Times Roll, I think.
Oh, come on.
It's like a vanilla-y, sweet...
Yeah, they
smell.
market that one as like popcorn, I thought.
Yeah,
it
buttery
said.
popcorn, I think it says on it.
Mine, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the description is something about
Is
like,
yours honey something?
yeah, it's like honey and orange, and it's like it says like Brazilian something something. So I saw it and I was like, oh, it's rude not to.
Yeah, it got her.
But
So, well, I am Brazilian, so...
but I smelled Soaps and I loved Soaps as well. That one's a bit more sweet. This one's a bit more
tangy,
yeah. But they are strong. I will say they are strong. Like when you first spray them, it's like.
But that's the thing that I want.
Yeah.
The worst thing is
Who
when
wants
you like buy a
weak
perfume,
perfume?
you spray it, and 5 minutes later you're like, I can't even smell it.
I know.
We need all day. You know, you put in on your jumper that you wore yesterday, you can still smell it on.
Yeah. So for 25 quid, run. Do not walk to Lush.
And this episode is sponsored by
No,
Lush.
it's not.
Folks. We're just
That'd
we're
be
just
nice
not
one
gatekeeping
day,
like
wouldn't
that.
it?
We're just letting the girlies know.
Yeah.
And guys, I think
Yeah.
they're, you know, what's the phrase?
Oh, aftershave?
No, multi-gender. What's that?
Oh,
word?
I don't know.
Oh, what's the word?
I was gonna say intersex. It's not.
Oh gosh, no, not that. Anyway, I think basically, if you were a guy or a girl, if you wanted to go for it, you could wear it. That's the Lush vibe. Lush is all about just, I don't know what I'm saying this like
Yeah, we're
I'm the
not.
CEO
We're
board,
not.
on the board
Anyway.
of Lush.
Anyway, guys, there we go.
Guys, if you're looking for a new scent, then head on down to Lush
And there's a big one in Birmingham.
yeah.
So there we go. This week's episode, Sophie Crew. What are we talking about?
We are talking about birthdays.
Birthdays. Why? Because when's your birthday?
It's in 6 days.
6 days in counting.
Less than a week.
The countdown's on.
It was a week yesterday. Yes, guys, I will be turning 26 on Wednesday, the 12th of
Flip
February.
me.
So if you need any, if you need a postage address, just DM us and I can send that over if you want to send me a present.
No cards, just presents.
Yeah, no,
please.
unless there's money in the cards, obviously I will be accepting those. But yeah, guys, 26.
It's 20.
Week.
She's 26, and we realised we've never actually discussed birthdays in depth on the pod, and I feel like that's quite a big topic. You know,
Yeah,
it's something that we all have.
we do.
We were all born,
We all have a day of our birth.
and there are many emotions that come with birthdays. Some people love them, some people hate them, some people don't mind them, some people find them anticlimactic. And therefore, the rough kind of title of this episode is It's Not Just You Who Finds Your Birthday Anticlimactic. Climactic.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No,
All right, we don't.
no, I just googled it.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Look.
But when you say it,
Climactic.
you don't pronounce that, do you?
You don't say matic, they do. You don't say anticlimactic.
I've never ever said that pronouncing the C.
Well, you should have.
Oh gosh.
You've been missing out, girl.
Okay, well,
We're going off dictionary definitions here because we want to bring correct grammar and English to the podcast.
we do. So that's what we're discussing today, guys.
Yeah.
And in light of your B-Day being 6 days away, as discussed, I want to ask you, how do you feel about your birthday, Sophie Crew?
Ooh. Well, growing up, I was always like a big birthday person.
I think we both were.
As in, I wouldn't necessarily have like humongous, massive parties.
No.
But I loved celebrating. I loved getting people together. Like, if I'm being honest, sometimes, you know, I can be a bit of an attention seeker. So the thought of walking into school with a fat badge on and, you know, some bags on either arm, I loved it. I can't even lie, I loved it. Did you love it?
I don't think I ever wore the big badge.
Oh.
But I think I loved the attention as well, like on your birthday, where it's just like everyone's wanting to like be nice to you, aren't they?
It's just
like
the
what's
energy
not
of, like,
to like.
Your friend bringing this massive badge in for you and you're like, no. Put it on me
give
now.
it.
And like, I actually quite enjoyed going to school on my birthday because everyone's there.
Yeah.
Every lesson you'd go into, oh, it's your birthday.
Yeah.
And then, you know, everyone sings you happy birthday. Like I know, I mean, that is some people's worst nightmare and they would hate that. But I loved it.
Yeah, so did I.
And yeah, I just, you know, people doing nice things for you, buying you things like, I don't really see what's not to love.
What's not to like, guys?
So yeah, I was never shy about telling people it was my birthday.
Yeah.
I had a friend
You started like a month countdown, like going around school.
Just so you know, guys. But I had a friend who he was one of my really close friends. Like by the time we got to sixth form, we were quite close friends, and I knew his birthday was in January, but he just was the opposite of me. He was not a birthday person, and I have just such a distinct memory of being sat in our A-level biology lesson, and I was going, "Oh, it's your birthday in January, isn't it? Like, remind me when it is." And he's like, "Oh, it was 2 weeks ago." And I was like, "What? Like, on what day?" And he was like, "Oh, that's like 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday." And I'm thinking, I was literally with you for the whole day. And I just didn't know it was your birthday. But he wasn't saying it in like a, yeah, and you didn't know and you didn't buy me anything. He just genuinely
It wasn't a big deal.
did not care about his birthday. That he, you know, we sat the whole day in lessons and just never told me.
I think a lot of it, like, could be wrong. He could have had a family that really celebrated his B-Day, but he just didn't like it. But I do think a lot of it, when you're that age is kind of what you're used to in terms of if your family go big on birthdays and it's like, you know, a fun day and there's presents and there's like celebration involved, then that's kind of what you're used to, isn't it? And that was kind of the case for me growing up. So I never knew any different of like to not like it. And I know some people just don't, but would you say that's stayed the same, i.e. like now, birthday next week, are we getting the big badge ready? Are we?
Well, I think I'd still probably sit more on the end of enjoy celebrating my birthday, want to mark it by doing something with people, don't want to let it kind of pass me by and just think, oh, just went to work, came home and did nothing. But I do think I found like the older I've got, I guess the older you get, I think birthdays start to feel a bit more insignificant. I think, especially that kind of later teenage end, it's like 16th birthday, 18th birthday, 21st. Like there's some quite big birthdays, even stuff like your 13th birthday. Like there's some milestones that you feel like you're really hitting as you're going, you know, probably in those 10 years between like 11 and 21. And then you kind of go into like past 21 and it's like 26. Like,
Yeah.
And I guess birthdays, obviously, stating the obvious here, represent you getting older. And so I think the older you get, we were talking about when we were planning this episode, just how I guess it's again just one of those moments to reflect on where your life is. You know, another year's gone by. What have I achieved? Where did I think I would be at this point in my life? You know, 26. If I think back to when I was younger, did I think I would be doing this now, here, you know, at this age? So I think it can provoke some of those feelings of reflection, which can be really beautiful. Like, wow, like I've had a great year. There's so many things that have happened that are great and good. But then there can be the reflection of like, oh, I don't know, like maybe I thought my life would look a bit different at this age. I think birthdays is another moment for that, is what I'm essentially trying to say.
100%. Like they almost cause you to stop and reflect on your age and therefore your stage of life and like, did I think I'd be here? Did I think my life would look like this? And I was just thinking as you were saying that, I think they also provide, I guess, a progress marker for like the relationships that you have in your life, because ultimately when it comes to celebrating a birthday, the majority of people like to do that with people. So I think actually birthdays create this moment where you stop and think, okay, my birthday's coming up. How would I like to celebrate it? And who would I like to celebrate it with? And sometimes that can be a really nice experience of like, oh, you know, this year I really feel like I've got these people around me, or maybe I'm in a relationship or a new relationship and I want to celebrate with them. Or on the flip side, it can be a moment of like, ooh, like actually at this stage in my life, I don't really know who are my close people. I don't really know who I'm going to celebrate with. Oh, I'm single and I wish that I was with someone in this moment. Or, oh, that friendship's drifted and looks really different and they would have been here at my last birthday and now they're not. And it's like that moment of reflection that can sometimes be quite difficult, I think.
Yeah. And it is, again, I think, I don't know if we did speak about this in the episode about January, or we haven't really, actually, no, we didn't speak about New Year's. We've not done a podcast about New Year's.
Yeah.
In my head we did. Anyway, but thinking about that season of New Year's, again, coming into January or whatever, and again, people were doing a lot of reflecting on, oh, what's this past year been like, and all of that. I think it's just a similar concept, isn't it? Of you suddenly go, okay, I've got to invite my close friends or the people that I want to celebrate with. Okay, so like, who are they? Like,
yes. So let's make a list. Ooh.
And also, and it's one of those things where it's like, I think more often than not, it's like there are people, of course, that would want to celebrate you, and that you do have amazing friendships with. But I don't know what it is about it, but it can just suddenly kind of bring doubts into your mind of, would people want to like pay to come out for a meal for me on a night when they probably have other stuff that they might need to do, or, you know, they've had a busy week, or I don't know. I think less so when I was younger, I would think like that. I think when I was younger, I'd just be like, yeah, of course everyone would want to celebrate my birthday. Like, you know, you're, I think, a bit more like free with it and less caught up. But I do feel like the last couple birthdays, I have kind of felt my thoughts going down one of those types of tunnel of like, I feel bad for making people like come out of their house to like, you know, do something that costs money, and which is like, I just think that's so wrong.
Yeah, and I think...
Because I would never think that about someone else's birthday.
I know. But I think it's like you say, when we were at school, it was a lot simpler of like, who am I inviting to my birthday? My school friends. Like that's as wide as it goes. Like that's the people I've journeyed with for 6-7 years. Cool, they're coming. And like you might have other friends, but that is mainly, it's just quite obvious, isn't it? Whereas I think the older you get, so much changes in your life anyway, in terms of like, for all you know, you could move city, start afresh, start a new job, and then have a birthday. And then obviously in that moment you're there like, who do I invite to my birthday? Oh, I don't know anyone in this city. And then you almost start spiraling like, I don't have any friends, like it's my birthday.
No one cares about
and like
me.
last year my birthday looked like this and this year it looks like this. So I think that kind of annual date just basically is quite easily comparable year to year. So then you start like looking back like, oh, but on my 24th birthday it looked like this, or on my 21st birthday it looked like this, and what's happened, where are those people now? And I don't know, I feel like you can almost just kind of spiral a bit, but actually a lot of the time things have just changed in your life, and that's okay. And you will then establish those new friendships and begin to get to know people, or feel more like confident in different seasons of your life. And it's okay if one time a birthday falls where you're not feeling like that.
Yeah, but I mean, even like you were saying about, you know, if you've moved somewhere new, you're making new friends, but then you're like, oh, but then I've got these friends from where I used to live, and you're thinking,
the collision of
do
worlds.
I invite them? Do I have
Yes.
like, and for me sometimes like I almost think it would be easier to do like, and this is again just the way I'm inclined, it would be easier to do a massive party where it's like, I've just invited literally everyone I know. And then it's like, you're not trying to navigate like, well, if I invite that person, then I should probably invite that person. But then it's going and expanding now to like a way bigger group. And then suddenly, I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, I've got so many friends. But you know, just when you're trying to work out like how everyone slots together. And the reality is like, you're kind of thinking, I want to make it nice for people. I want people to feel like they're not coming to an event where they just don't know anyone, or all these things. And then it's like, it's kind of like it's my birthday. Not that it's about like, oh, it's my birthday, but you're like, oh, I don't want to be at my own party stressing about social dynamics between my different friendship groups and people that I've invited. I just want to enjoy it.
And what I will say on that is like, I think sometimes when you're hosting and it's your event and you've gathered people together, you take on this next level of pressure of like, it's my responsibility that every person who makes effort to come to this has a great time, you know, gets on with everyone. And then I think the reality is it happens and you're like, all of these people are like capable people and capable of chatting with each other and getting on with each other. And the reality is that if I love all of them, they probably have something in common. Like they're maybe not super, super different, or like there's one thing that they can kind of bond over. And actually like, I don't need to take on the pressure of ensuring everyone has like, you know, where it's like everyone's got their own autonomy and can decide to come if they want to come. And I remember for me actually such like a core birthday, like core memory, I guess, was my first year birthday. So what do you turn? 19?
19,
Yeah. And that was the first time obviously you've left school and then you've made all these friends at uni. And I remember my home friends coming up. And like I was stressing, oh, I've like made these new friends at uni, but like how is this gonna be? And I had like one friend coming from home who didn't go to my school but like has just been a friend for ages, and I was like, oh, will she remember like my school friends, and then will my school friends get on with my uni friends? And I literally remember it was the best night. Like I literally just loved it, and we all went out. And I think as well, if you're doing an activity, it's like you're all there as well to enjoy something, or like enjoy dinner, or enjoy like going out. And actually for me, that collision of worlds was like the sweetest thing ever, where it was like, this is so nice. Like I literally remember stepping back being like, feeling so surreal watching like two people talk who had never met, but I love them both, being like, whoa, like that's so nice. So the collision of worlds thing works itself out, I think.
Yeah. And I think the bottom line is birthday parties aren't supposed to be like you're hosting the event of the century that's, the most talked about thing. Oh my gosh, do you remember when? Like, the point of a birthday is that people want to celebrate you and they're here for you. So in terms of when you're starting to worry about, are people enjoying it, and did I like, get the right food, and all those things you can start to stress about. And it's like, people just want to celebrate you, and I think I can't really ever remember going to a birthday party and going like, well, that was rubbish, wasn't it? Like, that was a rubbish party, like barely any food, the drinks were crap, like you're like, I just wanted to come and show that I love this person.
Also, it's the classic thing of like, because it's your event, you've thought about it for weeks. Other people have not thought about it until the evening itself, and they roll up like, and they're like, oh, this is nice to be out of the house. Like, so some of the pressure just needs to be taken off. But have you ever had a birthday where you've basically had an expectation and then the reality's not been met? Or like, in your mind, do you feel like you big birthdays up and then actually it feels different when it happens? Or like, what do you know what I mean? Like, do you put pressure on it in that sense of you having a good time?
Yeah, I think to be honest, I've got to a point now where, if you just view, and I think I kind of had this with Christmas this year just gone, like, if you just view it as like, it's just a nice day, and it will feel like kind of a normal day, but like a better than normal day. And if I'm not saying like, oh, just have no expectations, but I think when you hype yourself up so much, like, it's my birthday, I should feel this certain type of way, I should, wake up and just, feel like a completely different person, and everything's like revolving around me, and like, obviously it's amazing if your friends can do stuff that makes you feel loved and celebrated, and that, I feel like that's what everyone should have. But I think when you just look at a birthday, like, I remember last year on my birthday, on the actual day of my birthday, just had some friends around in the evening, like after work, really chill, just like had some cake and drinks and stuff. And I remember at one point I was like, oh, this is so nice, like, why are we doing this? And then I was like, oh yeah, it's because it's my birthday. Like, it's like, oh, this is like a nice evening thing, like we're all playing a game or something, like, this is fun. And then I was like, oh yeah, it's because it's my birthday.
It's for me.
And I was like, but not in like a sad way, just in kind of like a, oh yeah, this is just like a fun day and I'm having a good time. And I think I've definitely had birthdays where I've been like, oh, I don't feel like special enough, or
no one's done anything for me.
Like, I don't know. I think it's like, I think you can just go into those spirals of, okay, so this is the day that like I'm supposed to feel really loved, and my friends are supposed to show that they love me and stuff. And I don't feel like that's happened in the way that I had expected that it would. And I think that's when it can feel difficult, if you have an expectation put on people or a certain group of friends or whatever, and then you kind of are like, oh, like, they not like they didn't do anything, but you kind of just not, it didn't happen in the way that you maybe thought it would.
Yeah, and I do think it's quite hard sometimes to not have that expectation, because just as a birthday, as a like, not a social construct, because a birthday is a birthday, but like the way that birthdays are hyped or kind of presented or you see on social media, is quite hard to have zero expectation, because even just on your birthday, if you've got zero plans and maybe you're someone who doesn't really like celebrating it, I still think there's the thought in your mind, isn't there, of like, oh, it's my birthday, and therefore this day should feel different in some way to an average day. So I think it's when it doesn't, or you're like midway through work and you're like, I literally forgot it was my birthday, and that can be quite like a hard feeling. But I do think, like in life in general, the less you can romanticize something, the better, because often things just turn out different than how you expect them to, and not necessarily in a bad way, but just like you say, if you go into a birthday with like these wild expectations, it's like the reality is it's probably not going to happen, or will look different to how you thought it would.
And I think as well, it's communicating with
your,
the people that actually really want to go above and beyond. If you have those people in your life where actually it wouldn't be a burden on them to ask or communicate like, oh, I'd actually really love to do this on my birthday. Because I think the times that I've felt like expectations haven't been met on my birthday is where I've had all this stuff in my mind, and I'm like almost expecting someone to be like a mind reader, thinking, you should just know that I wanted this big surprise party, and why haven't you planned it? Like, as in, that's not necessarily what's in my mind, but the stuff that you kind of
so
help, guys. Next week. No, but just the stuff that maybe you have thought like, oh, it would be nice to do that, but then you haven't really done anything to activate it. So then it gets the day and you're like, oh, I actually would have really wanted to do that and I didn't do anything about it. I think that's when you can feel sad. But if you like, you know, kind of can communicate with people, oh yeah, I would really want to do something, then it kind of just takes away some of that internal pressure that in your mind of, oh, I kind of had this half vision of how I wanted it to be and nothing of that even happened.
And I think sometimes people look at others who have these big surprise extravaganzas and think, wow, like they're just surrounded by people who would want to do that or go out of their way to do that. But the reality is, like you've just said, that more often than not, that's being communicated of like the person knows, oh, actually, they don't really love planning their birthday or having an input. I'll just do something for them. Or like, oh, I've known they've wanted that extravagant gift for a while and now I'm going to get it. And it's like the whole time I think that comparison element is not helpful of like you're seeing other people and you're thinking, why is no one doing that for me? But there's so many like nuances to each relationship and friendship. So,
but then it is equally weird and can feel weird to like ask someone to plan your birthday party for you. Like, I mean, some people I think wouldn't care about asking that kind of question, but I think to go to someone and go, hey, so can you plan my birthday party?
I think friends should just offer and then the person can say yes or no. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, would you like me to plan it or can I do this? And then they can say no or yeah.
But I actually think that's more rare than common.
Yeah.
To have someone offer to plan your birthday party for you.
Yeah, but I feel like we, with our friends, went through an era where that was just like common.
I think we did, but I wouldn't. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that's common across the board.
Yeah, true. Most people just plan their own thing.
And I think, I think as well, even like if you're single, you don't necessarily have like a partner that's like, I feel like if you have a partner, this is my interpretation of it and it could be wrong, but like in my mind it's like that is your day, like you need to be on it on that day, like making sure that they're just having a great time and like you're probably having those conversations. What do you want to do? Should we go out? Do you want me to like invite people around? Like, and I guess there's maybe not the awkwardness like I was saying of having to pick a friend to say, hi, can you plan my birthday party for me?
Yeah.
Whereas, and so I do think that like having spoken with friends as well, like other friends that I have who are single, it's like birthdays can just be like, again, we were talking about the whole milestone thing. If you had wanted to be in a relationship by that point, it's like another marker moment of kind of like, oh, that's not happened for me yet. But then also, there's not necessarily that go-to person that you know, like, I know you're going to make this day special for me and I don't need to worry about like communicating all these preferences to different people and like almost like you can just go hands off. Whereas even if you're having to communicate with other people about what you want, that's almost still a job in itself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Rather than someone just knowing you so well that they would know exactly what you want. So you don't really have to be like, okay, so can you do this at this time and can you book this and can you da-da-da? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Although, I don't know.
But maybe that's my wrong interpretation of what it's like to be in a relationship.
I mean, I guess every relationship's different, but I wouldn't say that's been my experience in relationships of like, okay, like people know you well, but I still think like you can know someone super well. Like even for me, I would say I know you super well, but it's still like you still don't know like exactly what someone would fancy that year or what they envision their day to be, or like I don't think I've ever had it where someone has not asked me like anything, any level of preference and just gone and done something. It's always like, well, what are you feeling, you know?
Yeah. And that again, that's the whole thing of like looking at people's lives.
Yeah.
And
the
thinking,
comparison.
oh, well, you know, if I had a boyfriend, then I'd be doing all this stuff and he'd just plan it all
be
for me.
swept off my feet.
Yeah, I'd be
and
taken
I wouldn't
to
be
like the
involved
Maldives
at
or
all.
something. We'll be stuck in Birmingham.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing, it's like, it's just another, right, I'm going to go off on a side note here. But like the whole thing of Instagram and social media, mostly, I think more often than not, the average person is probably posting when big things happen in their life, e.g. birthday.
Yeah.
And so I think often that is the thing you might see on someone's feed is like, this is what I did for my birthday. and you have no context to how that's all come about, and you can just go, oh, look.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, there's so many nuances that you don't see. Like, you legit think like you see the thumbnail. I surprised my girlfriend with a da for her birthday, and it's like you've probably had a conversation at some point saying you both want to go there, and it would be a good birthday thing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like it's not realistic. So we need to just, in general, stop romanticizing anything, but also birthdays. That's what I think. Like, and when I say stop romanticizing, you still love and enjoy all these moments. It's just not like these unrealistic expectations that aren't real life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I also think like life is mostly full of normal moments.
Yeah.
And actually, like, I think when you can put so much pressure on a day, it's like, I kind of just think, well, why not? Why don't we just like do more of this stuff throughout the whole year?
Yeah.
Why do you wait till someone's birthday to encourage them or say why you love them or do something nice for them or buy them a present? It's like, actually, if you could just, I don't know, do more of that stuff spread out, then you'd probably feel less weight on the birthday.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, my one day of the year where people say nice things to me and buy me presents. And it's like, actually, if you did that throughout the year, maybe birthdays would feel a bit less like, so where's all the stuff?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
No, that just reminded me of this quote from an artist called Joshua Luke Smith, which says, "The life you long for is hidden in the life you have." And it's essentially that concept of all the little moments that you actually need and are fulfilling and are really beautiful are in your current life. So it's like you say, actually life is made up of these normal moments, and I think it's actually just about learning to like in the everyday be like look for them and notice them and be like, actually that's so beautiful that just happened, or that I ate that, or that I was with this person, or that we spoke about that, rather than the always like looking for more. And I mean, this is just I feel like this is such a side note now.
But I think the thing that I'm trying to say, and I think that you're trying to say, is like grasping hold of life. And I think part of it is also, like, for me, I actually think, okay, well, how can I do that for other people?
Yeah.
Like making sure I don't wait for one day a year to write them a card, or like buy them a gift, or treat them to something, or just make them feel special. Like, I actually think life is just too short to wait for one day a year to do that for people. And I think actually, like I said, I think that can then take some of the onus of, because if you're living life feeling like, oh, I feel so like blessed and rich in all this stuff that I have around me, like family, friendships, you know, whatever, then you're less like, I need all of that on one day a year.
Exactly.
So we need to just set that culture.
I love that.
Of celebrating one another, making people feel special, because that's like why you have friends.
Mm-hmm.
Is to do that for each other and family. And yeah.
So whether you love your birthday or whether you hate your birthday, you can still have a great day.
Yeah.
You can choose how to spend it.
Just do something that you want to do.
Yeah, do something you want to do. Communicate with your friends and fam. And have a laugh.
And enjoy it.
Enjoy it. And just to end, so tell us quickly, how are you celebrating your birthday next week?
So we are going to be doing a bit of karaoke.
Karaoke with the girlies.
And Chinese buffet.
Chinese
Let's go.
buffet.
I'm buzzing for that.
Yeah,
Need
guys.
to pick out some songs that I'm going to sing.
It's going to be brilliant. So if you're looking for a birthday idea, I think going out for karaoke is an absolute barrel of laughs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Should we land the plane?
Let's land the plane. Hope you guys enjoyed this ep.
Yeah.
Happy 26th birthday to Soph. I nearly said 27.
Oh, God.
Got a friend turning 27.
You're aging me now.
And we will see you in our next episode.
Bye, guys.
Ta-da.